Hey guys, this is Tony, Indie Smokehouse Barbecue. And some of you might say, what does Indiana, know about barbecue? Well, in Indiana, barbecue is all about rib tips. Rib tips, no matter what restaurant you go to, barbecue joint you go to, you need to have some rib tips if you're going to keep the Hoosiers happy in the state of Indiana. Today, I'm cooking up a bunch for our church picnic that's happening tomorrow. I'm also doing a brisket and some pulled pork, but I'm going to focus on them tips because rib tips are succulent, they're delicious, and if they're cooked well, they are something that will just make you just scream for more. Today, rib tips. Check it out. Pit happens. Hey guys, it's Tony, and I'm back to get into this rib tip cook for you. So let me show you what I've got working tonight. So here's what a rib tip is. If you can see this, you say, hey Tony, that looks like the brisket bone portion of a spare rib. And you would be absolutely right. A lot of people throw this away, trim off, get a nice St. Louis style cut, and they toss this in the trash. Not in Indiana. In Indiana, the rib tip is like the definition of barbecue here. You know, Texas, you got beef, brisket, and then you've got dry ribs down in Memphis, and sweet ribs over in Kansas City, and vinegary ribs over in the Virginias. Indiana, rib tips. So what we're going to do today, I'm going to get all of this stuff seasoned up, but I'm going to cook this just like a spare rib. I'm going to put it on the smoker just like this. It's going to be, I'm going to do my mustard slather. I'm going to do some decent rub on here. Get this on the smoker. It's going to be cooking on my Lang 48 patio. Hickory wood. I got a good supplier of some logs, nice dry wood, so I should get a good clean burning fire. But once these get done, they get chopped up, put in a pan, sauced. We'll let the sauce kind of caramelize on it a little bit, sort of like we do with burnt ends from the point end of the brisket. And oh my God, these things are going to be so succulent and delicious. So I'm going to show you how all of this works. I'll probably go ahead and trim and the brisket and the pork butts and get them seasoned, and then I'll come back and I'll do some cleanup of these guys. Get them seasoned, and that'll be the focus of the video. All right, guys, I'm back. I'm going to go ahead and show you how I'm trimming these rib tips, these brisket bones. I've done some already. I've gotten some fat off of some of these. A lot of this fat can go ahead and just it'll just render off. But if there's just like a ton of fat, like some of the stuff I've pulled off some of these already, we want to get rid of that, just like we were trimming a spare rib or trimming a baby back. I'm just trimming that off, and you're going to see some gristle that will kind of shine through. I don't know if you can see that or not, but there's some gristle right there, and that's fine, because these things are going to cook down so tender that you'll be able to bite right through the gristle. I mean, it'll be just so super tender, super good. So I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of these, and when it's time for me to start applying my binder and rub, we'll come back and take a look. So these are the seasoned rib tips. They've been completely trimmed, completely rubbed. Man, they're ready to go. Kind of look like a pan full of baby backs, but that's how thick and meaty those brisket bones are, and they make for some really a really delicious barbecue. That, my friends, is a ton of meat. As you can see, top rack, brisket, 2 butts, and the rest of the rib tips. All the other rib tips are at the bottom. I might have to rotate the ones closer to the firebox, but hey, that's what being a pit master is all about. Okay, so everything's in. That's a lot of meat. I wouldn't normally pack my smoker that full. Actually, I could have waited, but to get the rib tips on, but what the heck. So I'm going to burn up a little bit more fuel. I'm going to have to rotate the rib tips on the bottom a little bit, do some spritzing, I'm sure. But the temperature's creeping right back up to, it's like 210 right now, 209, 210. And we're going to let it roll and see what happens. Of course, when you put more meat in the smoker, it's going to burn more fuel. The coldness of the meat creates coolness in the smoker. Also creates a little more moisture in the air in the smoker, and so the heat sort of dissipates as it's coming in until everything comes up to a normal temperature, or about the same temperature in the smoker. Once things heat up really well and the meats start cooking, the temperature will equalize, and then I can kind of slow down on the logs and throw one on every hour or something like that, and this will just be fine. But rib tips, I'm telling you guys, man, it takes up a lot of space on your cookers, but I'm telling you, these are some really good eating, and I'll tell you, if you ever make some for your friends, they're gonna make sure you keep making them going forward. So I'm going to let this cook progress. We'll check in a little later on the cooker, see how the temperature and everything is going, and at some point we'll take a peek inside. I don't like to look that much, but with the necessity of having to rotate some of the meat, I gotta probably keep my eye on it. But we'll be back in a little bit and take a look and see how things are progressing. See you in a bit. Oh my God. They are looking amazing. See if I can get in here a little bit. Look at the color on those. It's been 3 hours. Now I'm about to put a little extra love on these rib tips. In Indiana, people love these things to be kind of sticky and sweet. And so I'm going to put some brown sugar on there. Gonna kind of do them the same way we do in competitions to get them kicked up for the judges. So that means I'm going to put some brown sugar in there. I'm gonna squeeze some honey love in there. Like so. And a little parquet margarine goes in there. Now what's going to happen is these are going to go into these foil pans. I'm going to cover them up, put them back in the smoker, let them be in there for maybe 45 minutes to an hour. Then I'm going to take them out. They're going to be so tender and fall off the bone. It's going to be ridiculous. You'll be able to bite through the gristle. They're going to be so tender. So let me get that done, get them back in the smoker, and we'll be back in a little bit. On. Look at that, bones are falling out already. This is going to stiffen these up. Look at them. They're falling apart. Well, another bone fell out. Look at that. Is that nice or what? These rib tips are going to get cut up. I'm going to take each one of these, split them in half as much as I can, and then dice them into cubes like rib burn ends. That's what a rib tip is. I can't wait to show you the finished product. So as you can imagine, it was a pretty long night. I got everything off the smoker probably about, what was it, 3 o'clock in the morning. Brisket is done, looks amazing. It went all the way up to like 205, 206, but it's jiggling and it's ready to go. The pork butts got 203, 204. They were just ready to come off. And the rib tips got done nice and early, which is what we're focusing on for this particular video. So what I'm going to do now is get the rib tips out of the meat warming cooler, and I'll show you that. It's a money saving tip for you folks that you know, it may not be ready to spend, you know, $300-400 on a Cambro or thousands of dollars for one of those big cart warmers you find in schools and stuff like that. But I got a nice little trick I learned from some of my boys down south from the BBQBrethren.com website, and that'll help you out. Show you how to keep your meat warm for a low budget. My water for my coffee is about to brew. I'm gonna get some of that, then I'll come back here. There you have it. This is what I use to keep my meat warm. It's a cooler. And so basically, I have what I call the meat blanket. And all my meat is wrapped up and put in this cooler. It lasts for hours. Stuff is still hot. And it's been in there since 3 o'clock this morning. It is almost 9 o'clock right now. Still steaming hot. Save yourself some money, folks. Keep your meat warm in a cooler. All right, guys, we're back. It's time to check out these rib tips and see what they look like. Get them cut up, put in the pan, a little drizzle of sauce, and they'll be ready for the event. So if you've never done rib tips before, this is going to be some really good stuff. Again, a lot of people throw these away after they trim their St. Louis style ribs. Yeah, they came out absolutely amazing. So I'm going to pour, well, there's not a lot of au jus in there. So move this over, show you what we're working at here. Rib tips. This is the brisket bone that comes off the top of a spare rib. And can you believe people actually throw this away? So, not Indie Smokehouse Barbecue where a pit happens. We take these. I'll do a cut. Oh my God, look how tender that is. And I will cut it long ways like that. It's got a nice deep bark on it. And then I'll just cut some pieces. Those pieces go into the pan. Down here where the bone is and gristle, look how easy that cuts. Right through the gristle. You can come in here and cut through that gristle right there, chop that up. Rib tips in the pan. Even these bones cut right through. Get that meat off. Oops. There's some chewing from my neighbor's dog. And that's rib tip. I'll do another one. I'm gonna cut this in half. Maybe cut off that piece right there. Throw it in the pan. That in half and make some pieces in the pan. And then down here, see if I can cut this. There we go. Look at that. Look how easy it cuts through. That bone comes right out, just like ribs coming off the bone. Rib tips in the pan. Okay guys, these rib tips are cut up. They are done. I want you to take a look at some of these. My goodness, look at that. Delicious. They are ready to go. There's going to be some good eating going on at the church picnic today. These things are tender, beautiful smoke ring, nice little bite-sized chunks. What I'm going to do now is take some sauce and just kind of drizzle over the top of these, just enough for moisture. Rib tips are the only thing that I really put any sauce on that I cook, because this is, well, this is the Indiana staple. This is what we like. Rib tips. And I just put just enough on there, create a little moisture, create a little color, create a little sheen. These are going to be off the chain. Rib tips. There you have it. Next time you trim your St. Louis your spare ribs up for St. Louis style trim, save those brisket bones, put them in the freezer, get you a bunch of them, get about 10 or so racks of those brisket bones. Treat them just like ribs, cut them up, serve them as rib tips. Awesome appetizer for your personal home events. Anyway, there you go, guys. Rib tips, Indiana barbecue.